when we say the Operation 3 billion, that's another piece in this jigsaw of how is this country going to move really to that economy.
Your Excellency, building an ecosystem is based on several key pillars, right? The funding, it's based on the talent, the academia, which you touched upon. It's based on the vision, which we discussed. But it also comes with a lot of challenges. Bringing it all together is not easy. There's a lot of stakeholder management, there's a lot of vision unification, there's a lot of aspiration, and a lot of actually learnings across the road. What are the key challenges you're facing today as an organization?
See, definitely a challenge is always ensuring you're able to get the right talent in. Especially if you are ramping up, especially if you're growing, attracting the talent at the pace you need to grow is large. I mean, today we are growing at a pretty large pace in terms of the product we're delivering. So talent definitely is an area, and we said we're working on this, and whether we attract or we build. I think other areas that we look at is when you're trying to build your industry, defense is one of these industries that have a zillion and one regulations globally in this regard, and limitations on where can you buy your components, what can you do, and we are ultra determined to ensure that we can build a sovereign product to serve our nation, and a sovereign product that we can also be able to sell to a lot of allies and friends in there. But for that to happen, you also need to look at your entire supply chain and how are you able to source components and pieces that tomorrow you are not restricted. I mean, if you have components today that have a certain control that you need an export license from X country and Y country, you have a challenge to use it yourself. You have a challenge if you need to sell it to an ally or a customer at the end of the day down the line. So part of what is happening is we're also building that ecosystem. Linking it to Operation 300 is we're doing a scope of saying what are all the components we're buying from outside, which we see no risk at, which ones we'll be working with the Ministry of Industry and seeing how do we localize these components. We have now a pipeline of what we are looking to build over the next 5 or 10 years. How are we going to localize in us, or frankly in our partner ecosystem as countries in this regard? Because reality, also one hand doesn't clap.
Absolutely.
So yes, you can do a lot of things yourself, but we are also here about partnering. And at least in the last 24 months since we've started establishing a lot of partnering relationships with many countries around us in this regard to see how do we complement each other. Different countries are at different phases. We are today, due to the critical mass, able to have these conversations and say, okay, maybe you can build this piece over there, maybe I can take this component from you over there, or maybe you have this part of the solution, I can complement it with this other part of the solution. And I think that's what we're trying to address on how are we addressing the supply chain, how are we addressing completing the ecosystem. And sometimes you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Your partners can support you in such a formula.
Thank you. Very, very insightful. Your Excellency, I want to look forward. I want to end this discussion by looking ahead. If we look at what you've done in 3 years, and if I want to basically extrapolate and say in 3 years, if we meet again, it's impressive, right? I mean, this is growing at a phenomenal pace, the success and everything. You first-handly told me that we want to grow by not only learning from the best, we want to grow by being disruptive, we want to grow by being different, by being agile, by being innovative. What's next? What's exciting? What's exciting you in what's to come? And if we meet again in 3 years' time, hopefully, or sooner, what can we expect from EDGE?
I think there are a few key points that we really want to leave as a message. One is we are determined at the end of the day to, although we cater for many sectors within the group, but we are determined to be known in 3 key fields. Autonomous in all its forms, whether air, land, or sea. So autonomous is an area that you will see us definitely wanting to be a key player globally in this regard. The other area is anything to do with electronic warfare. Electronic warfare today is really an area that's growing in a large way. Many of the products that are used today in the defense sector are digitized, Many of the products today are much more modern, and by being much more modern and digitized, electronic warfare plays a very large role in future wars in this regard and future defenses area. And this is an area that we've been investing in, and we are determined in specific sectors to be a key global player in this regard. And last but not least is smart weapons. Yes, as a country, we build bullets, we build basic ammunitions. Frankly, yes, we cater for that for our client. We also serve that for international clients. But that's not where we want to be known for. We want to be known for delivering advanced technology products that are delivered at much faster pace to our client, that is delivered at much more practical manner to our client, i.e. much more cost-effective manner in this regard. And that's why where we are focused, and we say in the next 2 years, there are these 3 domains that you will definitely see us a key player at a global scale in this regard. 2, we are building, or we are part of this ecosystem of building brand UAE in the advanced technology sector. We are one of these blocks in that regard. So we want to contribute to build brand UAE when it comes to advanced technology as an exporter of advanced technology. We also want to be building brand UAE when it comes to defense sector, that when people say, oh, I'm looking for an advanced product in the defense sector, I need them to say, go and have a chat with the UAE industries in this regard, because they are advanced in this area. So there is the domains, there is the positioning that we want to have, and I think another key message is when people look at us and how we want to grow, and a lot of the times there is comments from current ecosystem or from external that says, okay, what's the benchmark that you guys are applying, and are you applying best practice as an ecosystem or as an industry? I think looking at best practice is good. I know sometimes many people talk to consultants and say, please get me the benchmark of best practice as an operating model or ecosystem. I think it's good. But frankly, hiding behind best practice and saying, I will apply, because what does best practice actually mean? You're saying these are the leading players, they're applying the following operating model or XYZ and how they're doing things. If I'm number 20, I'm not talking just from revenue, but number 20 from an ecosystem or a maturity of a product, and I want to be in the top 3, if I apply the best practice of the best player, probably I'll surpass number 15, I'll surpass number 10, but I will never catch to number 1. Because if I just apply the laws of physics, if he's traveling at the speed of 100 kilometers an hour, and I apply the best practice, and I also travel at 100 kilometers an hour, but we are 1,000 kilometers apart, I will never catch up. So we are learning from best practice of other nations, but we are creating our own operating model to get there faster. And sometimes, by the way, that is uncomfortable. Because if you're trying to apply your own operating model, there is a lot of questions is, no, but this is not tested. Do you really want to do this approach? You're taking risk. Frankly, I personally have an allergy to someone saying you only have to apply best practice. You need to find what is the right operating model for you as a country and you as an entity to get you there faster. And that is, I think, what we are currently doing in our ecosystem, with our leadership, with our clients, is we are aggressively challenging what do we need to do as an industry, as an ecosystem, to move there faster in that regard, to be a more valuable player, to execute on what we need to do. Just applying best practice, frankly, is not good enough. You can be one of the bunch. If you want to be the leader, you need to be that best practice in that regard. Then you need to be the reference model in the future. And I think these are the things that we will be known for, where we are going to be disrupting the industry we're in. We are definitely looking to build a key brand in where we are. And there are sectors that we definitely aim to be a key player in, and we will be a key player in, inshallah, in this regard.
Your Excellency, thank you very much. This has been very insightful. We wish you all the best. And all the success in the years to come. Thank you very much for your time and you being here with us today. I appreciate
you.
it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Much
Thank you.
appreciated.